although I don't agree with it, I think it's important to bring all aspects of the debate to the table. And I think it's interesting that in the midst of a global pandemic, a European energy crisis and worldwide food shortages, not to say anything about domestic health and care problems, and Plaid Cymru have chosen this debate on the merits of a social experiment, or I might have to say a socialist experiment. Not that this place could implement Plaid's 4-day week utopia, as this is a matter reserved for the UK Parliament. And I read the TUC briefing yesterday, and it essentially asked what the pitfalls were, or the potential pitfalls of a 4-day week were. And it said that the Senedd doesn't have the power to legislate over the maximum hours someone can work, nor can it raise the minimum wage to balance out the financial loss if an employer lowered their employees' hours without a corresponding rise in hourly pay. And the Senedd doesn't have the power to change any of the rules around universal credit, which requires many claimants to work or search for work for 35 hours per week or risk sanction. But yes, I'll give way.
I appreciate that, Gareth. Just interested, when you've read the Trade Union Congress briefing, whether you considered actually joining a union, as the unions are the lifeline to so many workers and working class people in Wales.
Well, thanks very much for the union soundbite, Jack. I mean, I'm not a member of a union, and nor do I particularly want to be, unfortunately. But maybe this is the grand plan of Plaid Cymru. Maybe they want to hoodwink the Welsh public into believing that they could work a day less for the same pay, but it can only be delivered by a Plaid-led independent Wales. Well, it's a fantasy, just like the one that Wales can survive without subsidies from the English taxpayer. The motion fails to mention that most of the pilots failed because they were unaffordable. Like the other socialist utopian pipe dream, universal basic income, 4-day working is unworkable. My biggest concern as Shadow Minister for Social Services is the impact this would have on the care sector. We cannot fill the posts needed to provide good, safe care as it is, let alone increasing the workforce by a fifth. In August, the Chief Inspector at Care Inspectorate Wales put in writing what many of us have been saying for months. The recruitment and retention of staff was one of social care's biggest worries. Our fear is that unless people come into the social care workforce, more and more people will end up in residential care earlier than they need to, or if they have multiple health issues, they'll end up in hospital. Care homes are posting daily recruitment ads, yet receiving not a single applicant. One care home boss reported, "Staffing is dire. We haven't got enough people coming into the care industry, and we've got people leaving in droves. It's so bad that hundreds of vacancies are posted every week. This is on top of the chronic shortages which were identified pre-pandemic." Welsh Government admits that they need to recruit an additional 20,000 care workers by the end of the decade. That's just to stand still and doesn't count for the fact that a third of the workforce is nearing retirement age. If we were to sign up to Plaid's latest social experiment, we would need an additional 10,000 staff tomorrow. Even the most vocal advocates of 4-day working have to admit that that's impossible. Let's focus our efforts on fixing our care sector rather than trying to turn Wales into some utopian fantasy land. I urge members to reject Plaid's proposition and support our amendments. Thank you very much.